critical. It is currently 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I was woken at 3, it was like 3:34, or at least it was 3:34 by the time I actually picked up my phone and looked at the clock. Had I had immediately picked up my phone when I woke up, it would have been exactly 3:33, right? But anyways, I woke up at 3:34 and I had this dream, right? I had this dream. So I was like, I'm going to get up immediately and record this message. Now, before I do that, I do want to say that yesterday, August 22nd, was the full moon in Virgo. I'm sorry, scratch that. It was the new moon in Virgo. Let me correct myself. It was the new moon in Virgo. And in this year, 2025, we have 2 new moons in the sign of Virgo. Yesterday on August 22nd, then we have another one on September 21st. Now, yesterday, right, was a perfect time to manifest. And as you know, the energy comes 3 days, right? The day before, the day of, and the day after. So unfortunately, hopefully you've already manifested and done what you're going to do before you hear this message. I'm going to try my hardest to get this uploaded before sunrise. But if I don't get it uploaded before sunrise, then it won't get uploaded until around 11 o'clock tonight, right? Sorry. But anyways, as always, like, well, some people say 3 days before and 3 days after. So I guess it depends on your individual beliefs. So I still say go ahead and manifest, because it's definitely a great energy to do so, or a great time, I should say, to do so, with there being 2 new moons in the same sign within a 30-day period. Now, come September, we're going to be in eclipse season. So you do not want to manifest during eclipse season in September. You want to manifest on this new moon and watch how the changes flow in come next new moon, right? Anyways, quick disclaimer. Before I even get started in this message, I want to give a quick disclaimer, right? You have to know your situation, right? If you're listening to different readers, if you follow different YouTube channels, then you know that there's going to be a lot of energy going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if you are someone that is in your head about, should I stay or should I go? I'm here, should I stay or should I go? If you're someone that's back and forth in your head and you don't know which scenario is yours, probably you're the one that you should go. Like I said in the last reading, if you have to ask, the answer is no, right? But you have to know your situation, right? I would hate for anyone, and I say this and I've said it before, readers are not responsible for the decisions being made by the collective. You have to know your situation. If there are 2 storylines and one storyline is you should have left yesterday and the other storyline is you need to go for it, you have to know your storyline, because if you go for it in a situation where you should have left, then you're going to bring karma onto yourself, right? Or if you leave in a situation where you should have went for it, you missed an opportunity. But I will say a missed opportunity, while it does bring lessons, is nowhere near as bad as going for it when you should have left, right? At least it doesn't bring karma, it brings lessons, right? But anyways, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. You have to know your scenario. You know your scenario better than anyone else. Before I even get started here, I just want to say, if you are a divine feminine and you are dealing with a masculine that is hot and cold towards you, that comes and goes out of your life, that, and it's not even like a come and go, it's like a convenience. Like, he comes and goes out of your life, out of his convenience. When he's in your life, you're the one making all the sacrifices. You're the one putting in all the work. He's not doing anything for you. If when he's leaving, he's choosing other women over you, if you're seeing him with other women and saying that he's doing all these things for these other women, yet the times that he comes back and he's with you, he does nothing for you. If you've been on this off and on cycle with your divine masculine, or your masculine, because this one is not a divine. If you've been on this cycle with your masculine and all the time, weeks, hopefully you wouldn't be this stuck over someone that you've known for a matter of weeks, but for years, I'm going to say, if you're this stuck in your head over it, it better at least be someone you've been dealing with for a matter of years. If it's been weeks to months, it's giving a hint of desperation and obsession on your part. But anyways, if you've been dealing with someone for a matter of years, and over years, they've done nothing for you. I'm getting like no Christmas, no birthdays, no, like barely any dates. And if you do go on a date, it's like fast food. It's not anywhere where you guys get dressed up and get cute and get sexy and go out and have a night on the town, right? If you've been on a cycle with someone for years and this person has literally never done anything for you, I don't even know what you're in your head about. I don't know what you're in your head about. I think sometimes women, we tend to romanticize the past, but I want you to make a list. I want you to sit down and make a list of all the pros and cons. I want you to make a list of all the things this person either has or has not done for you. And I want you to compare. And if this is a situation where this person has picked other women over you, I want you to also make a third column where you list all the things this person has or has not done for you versus what they have and have not done for other people. And that should give you a little bit more clarity. I think sometimes women, and men too, this is people in general, right? When you really want someone, sometimes we imagine things that really aren't there. Or we sometimes, when we're thinking about things that happened in the past, especially when it's like a years thing, it's years later, we start forgetting small details. So we start kind of like rewriting the script a bit. I'm going to urge you not to do that, right? Now, on the other hand, if you are a divine feminine and you're dealing with a masculine who is, it's like trauma, like this person just needs healing. It's something about like being closed off, heavily wounded. This is a wounded masculine, right? I'm getting like a wounded warrior. This is a warrior. This is a divine feminine who's a healer, and this is your counterpart, and he's a warrior. But he is a wounded warrior, so he has not stepped into his full divine masculine. And there's something about you being there is going to kind of coax him, whatever the word is, into that role, right? if your divine masculine is someone who is very closed off, like just very, very closed off, probably had like a lot of trauma growing up. This is a divine masculine who maybe it was like a timing thing for you guys, right? Like maybe it was just like the timing was always wrong, or there were always like little things getting in the way. But this was a divine masculine that's always been respectful towards you, never put his hands on you, always, treated you kindly. But it was just like there was always little things getting in the way, or there might have been third parties getting in the way, but it was the third party. It wasn't necessarily him. This is like the third party who is intentionally like doing things to cause chaos. And I still say be cautious with that, because if it's a third party, and you have to know whether or not this masculine is entertaining this third party, or if this third party just is relentless. You have to know. But if it's one of those things where it was just like a timing, or there were like little things that were always getting in the way, this is your storyline. Okay, so let's get into the message. Now, this is the second dream that I've had involving divine feminines and divine masculines in literally a hospital setting. The first one I actually never did a video on it, because I was like, this one is a little bizarre. So I was like, it was involving a divine masculine choosing the wrong feminine, right? So I was like, this is a little bizarre. I don't know what this is. I don't know if anyone would relate to it, but it had to do with the divine masculine dating a nurse, right? So I just thought it was interesting that now I'm having a dream about divine feminine and a doctor, right? But anyways, so in this dream, it starts off in the lab. It's in a hospital, and it's in a lab. There's this divine feminine, and she's working. If you work in healthcare, whether you be a lab tech, a nurse, a doctor, I don't know, a physical therapist, respiratory therapist, it doesn't really matter. If you are in a hospital setting, then this should make sense to you. For anyone else, because I'm also getting like officer. I don't know if that's police officer. I don't know if that's military and he's an officer, but I'm also getting officer as well. But in the dream, it was specifically in the medical setting, right? So if you work in the medical setting, this might hit a little bit more home for you. For others, you'll know if this is your scenario, if you're dealing with someone who is an officer, be it military or police, right? And also be careful with those. Be careful. I've heard I've had a friend who had a horror story with dating a police officer, because you have those few who feel like they're above the law. You're supposed to be serving and protecting. You're supposed to be upholding the law, but you have those few who feel like they are above the law. So I always caution people, please be careful with dating police officers, right? Anyone in any sort of like public safety thing, because private investigators, be careful with them too, because by your second date, I promise you, this person has all of your information. They got your credit reports. They have everything. There's no hiding from them, right? Anyways, let me get back to the dream. So in this dream, this divine feminine works in the lab. This is a divine feminine that works in the lab. And she is in the hematology section, and she is running blood, and she gets criticals for a patient. She has a patient that has a hemoglobin of 3.9, which is like what in healthcare we call like a panic value, right? It's a critical result. It is a panic value. It's too low. It's too low. So she sees it, and she's like, oh, I have to call this, right? So she goes in the patient's chart, opens up the communication log, and she sees who the doctor, now the doctor assigned to this patient is actually an intern, right? But she sees the intern, and it is her ex from college. It is her ex from college that, and immediately when she sees his name, she goes into like deep thought, and I start getting her background story. Now, this is a divine feminine who dated this masculine back in college. They had an on and off relationship, just always wrong timing. It never worked out for the long term. After they graduated, she went on, started working in the lab, got her lab certification. He went on and went to medical school. So they've stayed in communication over the years. They've tried to like date over the years, but it just never seemed to work out, right? So she sees his name, and she's like, no, because there's something about the last time they spoke, they had like it wasn't like a big blowout, but it was a significant enough to where they decided to just go their separate ways, right? Now, she knows, because this is divine feminine. Of course it's divine feminine. Of course she's intuitive, right? She's an empress. So of course she's that queen of cups, right? So she and that queen of air, right? So also queen of fire, queen of pentacles. But anyways, we're going to focus on queen of cups, right? She's heavily intuitive, right? So of course, like as soon as she sees his name, she starts thinking, she starts reminiscing, she starts tapping into his energy. And she innately knows that this masculine has been wanting to get back in contact with her for a long time. I was about to say for years, but for some of y'all, you may not have been, you've known this person for years, but you may not have been in no contact for years. But for someone, I'm getting like, it's been years since you've spoken to this person. This divine masculine really wants to get in contact with this divine feminine. Now, the one thing I don't know, this divine feminine knows that this divine masculine works at that hospital, obviously, because she saw him. She saw his name, right? This divine masculine, I'm not 100% sure on whether or not he knows divine feminine work. Something in my heart is telling me he knows, and that's probably why he chose that hospital. But also something is like, in the dream, it was not specified whether divine masculine was aware that divine feminine worked in that hospital. We just know that divine feminine knows he works there, right? So she's looking and she's like, I'm not going to call him. I'm not ready to reopen those lines of communication. I don't know if I ever want to reopen those lines of communications. So she's like, who is this patient's nurse? So she starts going through the chart, going through the chart, going through the chart. There's no nurse assigned to this patient, which is very, very odd, because doctors, yes, they see the patients, they, order the labs, they, treat the patients, but the nurses, as we know, are the ones that do the hands-on care. The doctors are not in there doing hands-on care with those patients. So it's very, very odd. It's very odd that there's no nurse listed as assigned to this patient, right? So she's like, crap, I have to call this critical because, most of the time, I don't know how look, criticals, they have to be called. I know some facilities have like a time limit where they have to call them within 15, 30 minutes. I don't know what's specified in this dream. I don't think that matters. Either way, it's a critical and it has to be called. So she just stops. She takes a deep breath. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to have to call him to give him this critical for his patient. So then she starts picking up the phone. She opens up the comm log again to find his number. And as soon as she does that, she gets a vision of him texting her later saying, hey, crazy, haven't spoke to you today. How have you been? Long time no speak kind of thing. How have you been? Kind of thing. She like sees it. So she knows without a shadow of a doubt that once she calls him to give him this critical, she's reopening that line of communication. So she's about to go to dial, and then she overhears another coworker saying, there was a name given in the dream. It was, what was it? It started with a P. Crap, I don't have my dream journal right in front of me. I don't know why. For someone, I want to say like Perry. It was like a last name. But it started with a P. I'm just gonna say P, Dr. P, right? So she overhears another coworker saying, "Ooh, Dr. P's voice is so sexy," and she's like, she hears the other girl saying, "Every night I look up which patients he has, and I watch their chart. So if they have any criticals, I can be the one to call him just so I can hear that man's voice." And this coworker is having a conversation with another coworker. She's not talking to Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine she's overhearing, because she's thinking like, wait a minute, like who called my critical? I'm the one in hematology. Why is somebody else watching my board? And then this girl goes, "Girl, I'm thinking about asking him out." She's like, he is so sexy. She's like, girl, I'm going to ask him out. He's single. I asked around. I know he's single, and I'm going to ask him out. Now, the funny thing about it is that as soon as Divine Feminine heard that, literally her heart like sunk in her chest. Her heart sunk in her chest. So Divine Feminine, I have to ask you, do you want this man or not? Like, do you want this man or no? Because this dream, right? This dream, I'm telling you, the way, the energy that this, and it wasn't like a disrespect thing. This coworker and Divine Feminine are not close. They don't speak. This coworker knows nothing about Divine. This is what I mean when I say like third party interference. But it's not Divine Masculine's fault. This is the type of scenario I'm talking about. This third party knows nothing about Divine Feminine's past with this person. This third party is completely unaware. So this third party is going on and bragging about how sexy this man is, how his confidence just makes him all that much more attractive. And you know that if this girl snags the doctor, you're never going to hear the end of it. So the Divine Feminine knows that every day when she comes into work, she's going to have to listen to the I'm getting like the storyline of their romance from when they started dating to when they walk down the aisle. Because there's something about Divine Feminine knows that this woman is relentless, right? This woman is relentless. And I'm not even saying she's a karmic. She didn't even give karmic. She did not know. She just really wanted this man, right? I'm hearing I got options. This is a Divine Masculine that has options, Divine Feminine. He's not gonna wait around forever. Right? This is the type of woman who is relentless in the sense that if he opens that door, if she asks him out and he opens that door, this woman will stop at nothing to get her man, right? She's going to play the perfect role. She's going to be the perfect girlfriend. She's going to land herself a fiance, and she's going to land herself a husband, and she's going to be the perfect wife. And this woman is about to snag herself a doctor, right? So Divine Feminine, do you want this Divine Masculine or not? Spirit is telling you to make up your mind because you are running out. Now, I've done my three previous videos were talking to Divine Masculine about running out of time. Divine Feminine, this is your story. This is your story. I'm sorry. This is your story about you running out of time. Now, if you resonate with this message, then the other three messages were not for you, because those three messages were for either telling Divine Masculine that he's running out of time, or they were for telling the Divine Feminine that needs to walk away that they need to walk away. If you were the one where you didn't have a toxic scenario with your masculine, this might more so resonate with you, especially if you work in the medical field or if your Divine Masculine is some sort of officer, right? But anyways, Divine Feminine, you are running out of time. There's another woman that's out there that has her eyes on your Divine Masculine. Now, while he wants to talk to you, while he wants that future with you, at the same time, he doesn't know how you feel. And because he is a wounded warrior, and I'm not making excuses for him, but because he is a wounded warrior, he is not going to initiate contact. If you are waiting for this Divine Masculine, if your Divine Masculine is a wounded warrior, right? And this scenario makes sense to you. He is not going to be the first one to reach out because he doesn't know how you feel. He feels like it's already too late. And he just needs something. Like you don't have to pick up the phone and call it or be the first one. That you don't have to hey stranger him. You don't have to do that. You just need to make some small, y'all females, like come on now. You just have to make some kind of small gesture to let him know that door is still open. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything big and grand. You are not a divine masculine, right? You attract, right? You attract. So you don't chase, you attract. I was trying to figure out what the other word was in that, and I couldn't figure it out. So you don't have to do some big grand gesture. You just have to make one little small gesture to let this divine masculine know that door is still open. And when he knows that, and when he knows that you will be receptive to it, he's going to take it from there. So you won't have to worry about doing all the work. He's going to take it from there. Y'all, okay, the song that goes with this message is a song that I have not heard in years, right? Or that I hadn't heard in years until yesterday. It is a song from Brandy's Never Say Never album. And for someone, I'm getting your song might actually be Never Say Never. But it was a song from Brandy's Never Say Never album that I heard yesterday on the radio. It was the song Put That on Everything. So when I tell y'all, if you make this move, right, Divine Feminine, if you make this small gesture just to let Divine Masculine know that door is still open, you have not closed it, just give him an inch and he'll take a mile, right? But this time in a good way. If you just make that small gesture and open that door, Divine Masculine is going to take it from there. I'm getting like, I will pull the stars out of the sky for you. I will travel to the ends of the earth to see you. If you're anywhere and I'm not there, just think of love and I'll appear. I love that song. I'm gonna go back and re-listen to it. I forgot how much I really used to love Brandy's old music. Anyways, y'all, that is the song that goes with this message. But I'm telling you, Divine Feminine, you're not going to have to do all of the work, right? If that's what you're worried about, first of all, if that's what you're worried about, if that's your scenario, this is not your reading anyways. But when I tell y'all, this man just needs to know that door is still open and he's going to take it from there. He just needs to know that you're going to be receptive to it, because what he doesn't want to do is reach out only to have the door slammed in his face. What he doesn't want to do is reach out only to be completely ignored. That's going to wound him. He's already wounded. That's going to shatter him, right? That's not what he wants. So Spirit is telling you, Divine Feminine, you need to make up your mind. Now, if you don't want this Divine Masculine, that's completely fine. It's your decision. We have free will. We have free will. If you want to wait on updated. You want to wait on an upgraded soulmate. If you want to wait on someone new that Spirit is bringing you, that is perfectly fine. I know that's the route a lot of us are taking, right? But if you want this particular Divine Masculine from your past, Spirit is telling you that time is running out for you as well, right? We already told Divine Masculine he was running out of time. You're running out of time as well, because another female is about to get her man. She is about to get her man. She is going to upgrade herself to be a soulmate or a match to this Divine Masculine. Now, what he really wants is you, but he's not going to wait around forever, especially if he feels like that door is already closed. So this one is for you, Divine Feminine, right? And I'm getting, like I said, in the dream, it was I remember specifically seeing, because it was in red. It's like all the other values for the CBC, everything else was in black. But it's like that panic value was written in red. And I remember seeing like 3.9, 3.9. So it's something about maybe 3.9. I don't know what that would mean for anybody. But if 3.9 or 39, or for someone, I'm getting 93. If you were born in like 1993, I'm getting 93 as well. But if for some reason 3.9 resonates with you, this is probably your, I don't know why I'm getting 3.9 weeks, or for somebody 3.9 months. 3.9 weeks or months, if that means something either. But either way, for somebody, 3.9 years maybe? No. But for somebody, for Divine Feminine, look, this is your message. I'm going to go ahead and finish this and go ahead and end this, because I'm starting to feel exhausted. Anybody else feel exhausted? It's 4 o'clock in the morning now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this uploaded before sunrise, because even though I got up at 3:34, I don't know what like other readers, if you hear this and you're a reader, right, or an intuitive also, what is your routine? Because before I do a message, I always have to go, I have to shower, I have to brush my teeth, I have to make sure I'm clean, I have to put on like my oils and all that before I sit down to do a message. And then once I'm done with the message and I clear the energy out, I have to shower all over again. I have to do it all over again, right, to kind of clear the energy out, right? But so other readers, like, what is your routine before you just jump into a reading, right? Like, I know a lot of readers clear the space, yes, but do you clear your vessel? Do you clean and clear your vessel as well, and not just like the space that you're doing the reading in, right? But either way, yeah, like I said, Divine Feminine, this is urgent, right? Time is running out. Time is running out. So you need to decide. And for some of y'all, I'm getting, what are we in? We are in August. This is crazy. We are in August. Today is the 23rd. So we got September, October, November. We got like, we got like we got a little bit more. We got about 4 more months, because we have all of September, all of October, all of November, and all of December. So we got four months left in the year. Your time is running out, Divine Feminine, because this other female is about to get her man. And for some of y'all, this other female is about to get your man. So Divine Feminine, you need to decide, do you want this masculine or not? Anyways, as always, thank you for listening. Bye.